Hi, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to another Boost Live. My name is John Nelson, the plugin CEO of JKL Works and pluginbusiness.com and .net. Just got its new website. It's looking good. It's not quite up yet, but you're going to notice when it is because it's very well done. So hats off to the folks who did that I will name in a future episode, perhaps, or maybe even get them on here to talk about different aspects of web design. Who knows? But for right now, we're talking about compelling offers and having your compelling offer and how important that is to your business. It is crucial. It is the thing that will define you. It's the thing that will help you stand out over anything else. You talk about somebody's elevator pitch, that's an offer. Your business, no matter what it does, should have one of these. That you can share anytime, that your employees that you bring on can share anytime, that people that know you and take you around to places trying to help you can share you anytime. And it should be easy enough and defining enough to stand out and make that happen. So we're ready. We got our Girl Scout cookies. Let me make sure I have this. There we go. Position the right way. There we go. They're wonderful. They're awesome. We got a Girl Scout in my house, so we're loaded to bear with Girl Scout cookies. Highly recommend them. And then got coffee, so we're ready to go. Right? Are you? Thank you for joining us. Let's get into trouble. All right. So let's talk about compelling offers and the true absolute difference that they can make in your life and in what you do. So what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to talk about sort of the anatomy of a compelling offer, right? So it's the right offer in the right time to the right people. We're going to talk about high perceived value and what that looks like. These are the kind of the three components that we're going to go through with this. And then we're going to talk about straight talk, no jargon, no BS, no blanket statements that everybody else makes saying exactly the same thing. What makes you so special if you're going to use that? So don't do it. We're going to cover that. So, and then finally, we're going to do some things of what not to put in your compelling offer. And understand your compelling offer should be short. You're going to hear that a lot today. So it's nothing unusual. But there's still some things you should not put in there. And finally, the ultimate smackdown component that every compelling offer must have to get recognized, to stand out. And it plays to some very, very deep human natures that we all look for whenever we're shopping for products and services. And if you're not taking advantage of this, you will continue to miss out. But if you are, then you can see business with the right structured offer, with this anatomy that we're going to talk about. This can make a huge difference. I use the word ginormous difference in your business and in your life. I mean, this is why we call this real business life change. We don't want you to be another cookie cutter business, even though they may be Girl Scout cookies. But we don't want you to be another cookie cutter business that doesn't do anything to stand out, doesn't serve their community that well, and doesn't have anything going for it that makes it legendary. You know, I know legendary is a big word, but your business can be that. Your business can be fondly thought of in the markets that you serve. So why wouldn't you, right? Okay, so let's start breaking down the anatomy of a good, compelling offer. And number one is something we call market dominating position. Now, for those of you in the Facebook groups, we did posted a video that we were doing right here a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, probably, about a market dominating position. So if you want to go back and watch that, it wasn't my best live, I'll admit that, but I hope I got the point across. For this, I want to really kind of break it down faster as to what it is. So you all know what a unique selling proposition is, I hope, about your business. It is what you have that makes it unique, that makes it stand out from the competition, right? So a market dominating position wholesale takes that one step further, but it's a big step. Okay. So not only is it something unique that your products and or services offer that makes you different. But a market dominating position is that, or a product or feature that you offer that meets the need for the most customers, the exact need that they have at the time that they need it. Okay, there's no convincing them they're going to have that need. I mean, you can do that, but you'll waste more of your effort versus if you really identify the need that they have now and your unique ability against no one else in your market, in the market that you serve, to do that, and you have the ability to meet that need, you will win every single time. If you step into a place where, and you might be saying, hey, I own a furniture store and my furniture isn't that unique. Okay, what is unique about it? Is it very high quality furniture? Is it something else about it that meets a need for people who have need very high quality furniture? Do you only sell patio furniture? You'd be surprised what a space there is for that. And you sell it high quality, but at the prices that might surprise you, or something. Okay, so it is meeting a market dominating position is the right offer to the right people at the right time for the need that they have that only you can fill in your market. If you see somebody, like I live near Houston, Texas, and Houston, Texas is a big city as they go in the US, in the sense that it's population wise, it's not as big as many cities in the world, but it is very spread out. It's 60 to 100 miles across. So, I mean, it can take you an hour to 2 hours to get from one side to the other. It's like Los Angeles in that respect. It's, I think, only second behind Los Angeles in terms of actual size. And Los Angeles has been described to me as a region, and I found that to be very true. It's a bunch of other cities, but it's a region that calls itself LA. So Houston is not much different. And so what you'll see sometimes is on TV, companies advertising that they are, and ignoring the fact that they are literally on one corner of the city, way over here. And the person who might be watching is on the complete opposite side of town. And it will take a long time to get to them, but they're still advertising to them because hopefully they believe that's their market and not that they fell victim to, stupid advertising for services they didn't need. But they most likely they identify that that's their market, those are their people too. And they have something that those people, even though they're way across town, we'll make it worth your while to call us to come all the way over there and solve your problem as only we can. So you have to find that thing that's unique in a market dominating position, right? Okay. So who do you serve? Let's talk about who your market is. Okay. If you haven't taken the time to work that out as you're crafting your offer here, work it out now. Who is the area that you serve? Who is the community that you serve? Don't just say anyone. That's not going to work. It's going to hurt you, and it'll frustrate you to no end. Pick a geographic area that you can realistically serve. Even you coaches and consultants and marketing people out there. Okay, it's the whole United States, fine. Or it's don't say the whole world. That you should know, if you don't, that there are nuances in every region and every country that are different. Do yourself a favor and narrow that down and pick something and go for it and concentrate your efforts. If that's the United States, which it very often is for people, or North America and the United States and Canada, depending on what you offer, they're not that different. Depending on what you offer, they could be different in how they behave. Those two countries, even though we're right next door to each other, and we love our Canadians, but it's sometimes you guys do things very differently depending on what it is that we're offering. So pick a target and go for it. Mine is the United States for right now. Not even, will I turn away somebody from Canada? No, of course I won't. But I recognize that there are nuances to what I do that could be different, or could be the same in most cases. So Canada, probably for me, North America, English speaking, I know enough Spanish to be dangerous, but it's not enough to do as much proper business as I would like, as evidenced by my time doing some business and spending weeks in Cancun, Mexico, and not on the beach, I'm ashamed to say. Went there for 2 weeks and was doing nothing but business and did not go to the beach once. I have never been to that beach. And well, I've been to one, but it was on a cruise and it was down by Playa. Anyway, I digress. So I didn't go to the beach at all. I was there to work. And so when you're working, you're in amongst the city with everybody and you get to see some of the culture, and it's really cool. But you get to see a lot of other things, and you realize the language barrier is still an issue as Americanized as it is. There's Walmart. We went to Walmart and Office Depot and Lowe's and all these different places that they have there, but it's still Spanish speaking. We had to deal with a bank, and the lady that I was dealing with didn't speak much English, and I didn't speak much Spanish, but somehow we made it work. We had a great time and we made it work. She's very cool. I remember her. But anyway, language is an issue. So I'm having to stay away from that for now, unless I come across a situation that enables my Spanish in a better sense. And there's a business there that really needs. So I'm focusing on an area, and that's most of the United States and part of Canada. Although my French is worse than my Spanish. It's nearly non-existent. Sorry, guys. But anyway, what is your market? Who do you serve? Where are you looking at? Force yourself to narrow that down, because that's key to this compelling offer, and it's key to the market dominating position. You will take anybody else you talk to, but the idea with this is that you offer something in your market that nobody else does. You're the only one who can solve that problem, or offer that product, or offer that service. So you need to act like it. And that starts with narrowing down who your market actually is. All right. Third thing is, so this is kind of what do you have that speaks directly to needs that they have? So now you've narrowed down your group, and I jumped the shark a little bit, as I often do, and got ahead of myself. But what do you offer that speaks directly to a need that people in your market have? Okay. It may be a need. It should be a perceived need. I mean, I believe there are salespeople and sales efforts that can sell anything to anybody and convince them of a need they have. There's a whole school of thought around that for sales. But the easiest way to do this, the best way to do this, the most productive way to do this is to really speak to a need that they have. It's undeniable. And not everybody's going to have it, but there's enough that do that will support support your providing of that product or service. And so then you can create a whole book of business out of it, of people who have that need. Then later you go after the ones who maybe not think they have that need. But certainly pick the ones do. Is there a problem they're having that you are uniquely put in their place, in their space to solve? Otherwise, so all of this is the anatomy of a market dominating position. And it takes more effort than you think to put it together. But if you think through it logically and think through it in a sense, you may not have thought of it what you offer this way before, but you should take the extra time, stop down, and really think about, are you meeting the specific needs of your specific market at a specific time when they need it? Are you right there when they need it to offer it to them? Because if you are, and no one else does, and you identify that, you could charge whatever you want for it. They're gonna get it, because they understand the value and they understand what you're doing. I mean, I'm not suggesting for a moment that you gouge people, but you shouldn't go cheap either. Offer a fair price for what you provide. Offer high value, which we're going to talk about in a second, and you will win every time. So speaking of, let's talk about component number 2 of a compelling offer: high perceived value. So we've got our market dominating position there, hopefully in place. If not, take some time later to write it down and get it in place. Let's talk about your compelling offer. Okay. High perceived value. So high value at the lowest price is what we're talking about. The lowest, not the lowest sales price. Don't get into that. Don't fall for that trap. If you get into a price war, you look at two gas stations across the street from each other and they end up in price wars a lot. They're not selling the things that make that individual gas station unique. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's gas. Okay. But as some of you know, some gas is better than other gas. There's higher and lower quality. There really is. But that's kind of nuanced. It's more like, does this one offer a car wash? Does this one offer, a place to go in and get snacks? Does this one offer, good, clean? Does this one offer good, clean bathrooms? I didn't think about that, but yeah. Does this one offer, other things that you need while you're there, or ways you can quick service your car where this other one does not? What are the things that make something unique? And so what's the highest quality they can provide at the lowest, I should say, cost, not necessarily price, but the price applies too. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So, let's talk about the price first. Sorry, because I'm going to go to something else that goes behind the scenes a little bit. So think about what is the lowest reasonable price you can charge where you're still making money. This is not a charity. It's you're in this business to live. This is your lifeblood. This is your employees' lifeblood. So without price gouging people, and doing bad business practices, what is the price that you can reasonably charge that to meet exactly the need they have when they need it? And you'll find it's a little more than you think it is. It's far more than the discount thing, because you can charge a little more. It's fair, as long as you're fair about it. Then you might think, as long as you are providing high value. Okay, the highest possible value you can, the most that you can reasonably put into that for the price that you're charging. Okay, the most benefit that the customer can see that applies to them. They're selfish. Customers are selfish. Okay, they're looking for the thing that helps them. They're not looking for the thing that helps you. If you price it right, both will happen. It will help them and it will help you, and everybody will be fair about it. But customers, by their very nature, are selfish. Okay. So then you kind of have to think like a purchaser, which is my next point here. So purchasers, if you're the purchaser, that you're the one creating in your small business, you're the one creating your product and your service, and you're the one who has to go source everything. If you need any software, if you need any services to make your service happen, if you need any coaching, if you need any whatever, that has a value to you. And maybe you're the one who needs to go get that. But if you're in a company that's big enough that needs somebody to serve a purchasing function, take excellent care of these people. And you have the right to vet them very hard too. Make sure that they are a good fit for your company. But once you establish that they are, take excellent care of them, because these are the people that are literally the heart of your company. They are the engine that drives it. And you say, well, but we make stuff here on the premises. Yeah, but you have to have components to get there. And those components have to be lowest priced enough that it saves the company money and helps that bottom line and helps that profit, without being so cheap that you start having problems and quality control issues and other things. And then your product suffers because you bought ultra cheap and you got what you paid for. And now you have a lot of problems with your customers because things are breaking left and right, or services are not being provided consistently. And so things are shutting down. Great example of this, website hosts and web designers for a company. As long as they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're the best people ever. They can do amazing things. But when they get behind and they can't fulfill what their customers are doing, customers are buying, you're going to have a lot of problems quickly, and they're completely out of your control, except for the picking of that company and the not noticing the red flags. A good purchaser will do this for you. That's why I say these people are worth whatever you can pay them. A good one. And I know that because a lot of my role was IT based in the companies I was a part of and ownership of. But for a time, I was the purchaser. And these were for trailers and trailer components. And I had to learn a lot about purchasing in a short amount of time. And luckily, we had two gurus at the standby who were very good at it. One of them just happened to be our operations person. So he spent a lot of time working with me and coaching me on it, and was constantly, available to do that as best he could be. He was in another city from me. He was at our facilities out where they were putting everything together, but was instrumental in helping that, as well as a person we brought in from the outside who had been a purchaser for Hyundai for years and years and years. And that's not a small company. And I'm talking about the North American version of Hyundai. So this was in Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico, where he was, but not a small company at all. And so both of them were instrumental in putting that together for me in a short amount of time, because that's all I had. But it taught me a lot about how to be a purchaser, taught me a lot about how to organize some of these things, and what special people these people can be, a good purchaser can be for you. So if you're the one making those decisions, good on you. Be smart about it. You're looking for the highest value at the lowest possible price, are you not? So as a purchaser. So it's important that you do that. And so when you're crafting your offer, because we are talking about that, think like a purchaser. So what is the highest perceived value you can give somebody at the lowest possible price that you can give to your target market that you've identified? You don't have to disclose the price. You should not disclose your price, even when you're crafting your offer. Don't do it. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But in your mind, in your company's back offices, you're trying to squeeze the maximum amount of value out that your customers really truly need, that are really meeting them where they need them to be, where they need that value to be. But for you, it's at the lowest possible price and the biggest margin that you can get. That's business 101. It's every business does it. It's okay that they do it. That's how we live. That's how we survive, So it's thinking like a purchaser. All right. And then the final thing, can these services be provided in a repeatable fashion? Okay. So I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and I'm not going to name names, of course, but it's something that's important. Can you provide services repeatedly, over and over and over and over and over again? The same ones, high value, low price, rinse and repeat, but not make it look like or feel like or sound like it's rinse and repeat. Can you do that behind the scenes? Can you provide, is this an offer that you can do over and over again? Because I hear a lot of marketers, and I'm going to tell you, I was one of them. Up until a few months ago, I was one of them. And I finally I felt like I was running in sand, because what ended up happening is maybe you have this list of services that you can provide people. Or maybe there is something that if you approach it where you go into a particular client and you have this tool belt of services, and it's a matter of which tool am I going to pull out of the tool belt for this particular situation. What will end up happening is you have to reinvent the wheel every time. We'll talk at some point about policies and procedures, and later on about systematizing things. To the extent that you can systematize it and not make it look like it's systematized, do it. This is key to one of my favorite books. The impetus behind what we do at JKO Works is called The E-Myth Revisited. I highly recommend that book. If you if you're ready to dive into the backbone of any service, go get it. Go read. It's an easy read. Read it. It's probably in multiple languages. And the idea is to develop a repeatable system, but not make it look like it's a system. Where you're doing the same things, your people expect the same. They know the results they're going to get. They know the results they should get every single time, over and over and over again. You will come to understand that, and your people will come to understand that, and your clients will have no idea it's happening, but they will benefit from it over and over again. So in your building of high perceived value, make sure this is repeatable. Okay. Make sure you can provide that value again and again and again and again consistently to every client that or customer you figured out that has that need. You got the need. You got the you're giving them a lot of good services, but you can also repeat them to the next one that comes along and the next one that comes along. So pick one service and lead with it, because that's the one that's going to solve their problem. And you're able to do it over and over again without having to take extra time and fulfillment to reinvent everything. Okay. All right. So now it's time for some straight talk. No jargon, no BS. All right. So this is important too, because now we're getting into the meat of creating the offer. Before, it's sort of the nuts and bolts. Okay. It's sort of the things behind the scenes that create what the offer is. Now it's time to actually come out front and say, what is this going to sound like? What is this going to look like? Okay. So I've skipped over a couple here, but so is your business the only one? So you've established your business is the only one doing this, right? And so you have to say that. Okay. If you're the only one, this is going to begin to come out in the language that you use. My business is the only one that can solve your problem. And you don't say it quite like that, but you imply it everywhere you can. Mine is the only one with the solution that you need. Nobody else in this area can do this for you. You can try to price shop all you want. They don't say that, but that's the implied message. You can look around all you want, but you're going to find mine is the only one that provides the product or service that you are looking for right now to solve your problem, to make your life better, to move you forward. Okay. The only one. So is your offer one sentence short? That's tricky, especially for somebody like me, because I like to talk and I like to yap. Just ask my friends. But is this short? This needs to be short. This needs to be one sentence. That's it. So you compress all of this that we've been talking about up to this point into one sentence that describes what you offer and how it's and it will either what you're doing is you're crafting this offer in such a way that it will trigger in somebody's head as soon as they see it of, I have that need. Well, never mind. You as Mr. Business Owner, you've done your homework for these potential clients. So whenever you put that one sentence out there, it's going to trigger these people in the best way possible. I have that now. I need that. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I need that. I'm having this problem, and these people look like they're the only ones talking about it. They're the only ones who can address it. Okay, so I want them. I want to come on board with them, but this has got to be short and to the point. This is the elevator speech, and why elevator speeches are so hard to write, but so crucial to write. So you got that. Now we need to eliminate jargon. We need to eliminate BS and fluff statements. Things like we're the best ever, or we're the best ones in Houston, or top rated, or certainly don't do this one. And we'll cover this in a minute, but lowest price. Okay. Don't do lowest price anything. Don't do price anything. Okay. Talk about your value. Talk about what makes you unique. And I'm dancing all around it for a reason. Talk about these things that make you absolutely unique. And so but tied to you. Don't make it generic. That's easy and that's cheap and it won't work. It will not get you results because everybody else is the best too. Everybody else has the lowest price too. Everybody else has best service too. That doesn't tell me who you are at all. And it doesn't tell your customer, potential customer, your prospect, your person who doesn't know they need you or doesn't know you exist until they see you one day very quickly, in an ad or on TV or in an email or in a whatever, social media, though until they see that, they don't know, and so and when they see your offer that you have put together, it's short, it has high value, it's speaking, it's almost like you're whispering in their ear. There is a great example of this. One of my best friends, his son went off to the Marine Corps, and ahead of that, he organized a dinner and cigars because it's a bunch of guys, okay, getting together in an upper room place in this bar nearby. I mean, there's a bar downstairs, but we had the room upstairs, and they had a cigar lounge there and all that. But before this young man went off to the Marine Corps, his father gathered around this group of men that were influential in his father's life, which I was privileged to be one of them. And so this was a cool deal. And the idea was to speak into the ear of this young man and prepare him with lots of wisdom as to what's to come. So many cultures do things like this for boys and for girls. And that's wonderful that they do it for girls. I have a daughter. I've got to do some of the same for her too. So it is, we take those opportunities where we can to speak directly into the ears of those that need, of our whether it's young people, whether it's new prospects, whether it's new whatever. I want you to make these statements, this offer, such that you're almost in their head, because you've done all your research, you've done your homework, you have crafted this offer, you have a product or service that will meet the needs of enough people to sustain you, to create a group of customers, and to get you a good foothold. And so you need to spend some time thinking about what that is and eliminate all the blanket statement BS. Make it as specific to you and the need that you meet as possible, and get rid of all this other junk that is easy to fall back on and everybody else is saying as well. You will not stand out. You will not have success with it. You may have temporary, but it is only temporary. Versus if you want lasting success and to serve your customers well, which should be the priority in reverse, frankly. You should be here to serve your customers with excellent customer service, no matter how irritated you get at them. and some of them deserve it, but you're still here to provide excellent customer service to the ones that you have taken the time. And part of that is by not literally, but figuratively speaking into their ear, communicating with them in ways that only you can, that are meeting their needs, that trigger things inside their brain in the best way possible, that says, I don't care what these people charge. I want what they have. I would be an idiot not to do that, because this is just speaking to me directly. Okay. So on that note, let's talk about what you don't put in an ad. All right. What you don't put in an ad. And we're going to go with the puppy dog here. Yes, I'm having way too much fun on PowerPoint slides with the AI design feature. So sorry, guys. Not sorry, but sorry. But this little guy came up and he's just too irresistible. All right. So things you do not put in there. All right. Generic target statements, or I think that's supposed to be jargon, but really don't try to use a specific statement, but with generic words, if that makes any sense. Get those out, get the jargon out of there we've talked about. And what we call jargon is not industry. Yeah, I mean, it's industry specific words, but it's the generic blanket junk. And that you is in most people's ads and most people's statements. Remember, you have one sentence to do this. Make it count. You have one sentence to do all this. One sentence to do all this. Make it count. Okay? Anything that causes a price war. Don't say, I'll do this for $99. Don't put your price in. Okay? Because one, you'll be beholden to that price forever and you can't change it. And if you do, all heck's going to break loose. You told me it was this and for $99 and now you're going to $149, and there are price increases out there, and we're going to talk about those in a future episode. But and how to overcome that. But you can certainly overcome it by not putting a price in your statement, in your compelling offer that you're putting out there to everybody. Because this is going to be, if you do this right and you craft this correctly, it's going to be everywhere. It should be everywhere. Everywhere that you potentially would pull clients from. They should see it everywhere they turn. And if they have that need, then it's gonna trigger them, and they're gonna call you, and you're gonna get a new client out of it. But don't put a price in there, and don't do things that would trigger a price war, because the second reason not to put a price in there is there will eventually be somebody who comes along who figures out how to do what you do and meet the people you meet and speak the language to them that they need spoken to for a lower price than you. You put there, you'll do it for $99. Somebody will come along and do $89. And the people will go to the $89 every time, unless they're your loyal customers. And even then it's a stretch. Okay. $49 they'll definitely go to. So just do yourself a favor and don't put the price in there for any of it. You'll get to that later. When when you've already established that you're meeting their need, you're speaking their language, you're doing everything to them that they need done to trigger that decision. They're ready to buy from you. You got the value going on. I don't care what it costs. As long as it's even remotely reasonable, I'm cool with that. Oh, here's the price. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm cool with that. You're nobody else is talking to me the way you're talking to me. Is listening. Nobody else is, the perception there is nobody else is listening to me the way that you are listening to me through your offer. So then you can almost charge whatever you want. And the final thing is, don't name competition ever, for two reasons. One, it just will cause a war with them, and you may not be competing against them directly anyway if you're doing your homework right. There's no need to. And then two, it could start a war that maybe they do turn their attention. Your competition that you named does turn their attention to you and starts trying to figure out a way to beat you, and they will try. And it's just it's immature, and it's unnecessary. You don't have to do it. Don't acknowledge them. If you're doing your homework right and you're putting this compelling offer together in a way that only you can, in the ways that you're meeting the problems you're solving that only you can, you don't have to worry about your competition, because you're the only one doing what you do. You're the only one who will do what you do. So who cares? If somebody's across town and they're not in your market, don't bother with them. They don't exist. And that also leaves the door, maybe sometime down the road, maybe you want to expand, and lo and behold, here's this company over here that they may be struggling a little bit, for other reasons other than the clients aren't doing what they do, but they're in a different market from you, and there's some synergy there. Maybe we can do a joint venture. Maybe we can do maybe I can, buy you out, and I get into that market too. There's whole nuances that go with that, but, or we can have some sort of alliance where we're, forming a group of people who do what we do. And there's group benefits to making that happen. So don't burn any bridges if you don't have to, even though they may be your quote unquote competition. And the easiest way to burn that bridge is to start naming them and start picking a fight with them, because it's just unnecessary. You don't have to do it. If you're doing what you do, then you do what you do. Don't do what they do. Okay? No matter whether they do that to you or not. You got your offer down, they're going to find you. Okay? So now it's time for the ultimate smackdown component. This is the mic drop, shut the door thing that I'm going to offer that is going to absolutely seal this deal. I don't care whatever other else I've put in my compelling offer. If I can figure out a way to do this, there's no fighting it. This is the part that I went back to in the beginning that said, if you want an offer such that somebody would be an absolute fool not to do business with you, because you are meeting their needs so perfectly, your price is reasonable, you're doing everything right. But this last component here, it's really a fourth component, but it's probably the most important once you understand it, how it works. That it will absolutely seal the deal. Okay, so you've got your one sentence offer in place, right? You've got you're speaking directly to them. I know we've repeated it several times, but you're speaking directly to them. You've eliminated the jargon. You've eliminated the blanket statements and the BS. Now, there's something called risk reversal. And that is you see it there at the bottom. That is the component that will change everything for you. And what risk reversal is eliminating the risk to your prospects or your customers and putting it all on you. And making sure that they know that. Making sure your prospects know that. That's why you don't want to put guaranteed in something unless you're prepared to stand behind it. That word gets overused more than you think. But if it's used properly, that's risk reversal. Okay. So like, for example, my offer is this. I can find any business at least $50,000 in revenue in 50 minutes. Guaranteed. My guarantee is out there. If you go to jklworks.com and scroll to the bottom, it says our guarantee. And it basically says this. We will provide you a lot of services. We'll provide you a lot of coaching, a lot of value. But you must, Mr. or Miss Client, you must do the things we tell you to do, and or at the very least, do the things that you agree to and give it your absolute best effort to make it happen. If you don't, if you ignore it, if you blow us off, if you sabotage it, I don't care how much money you pay me. It's not going to work. And it will fail, and it will void that guarantee. But if you do everything we tell you to do and it still doesn't work and you're not happy, then we'll refund 100% of your money back, and we will keep working until we get that for free, until we get that straightened out. And then we'll talk about what happens after that. Until we do what we say we're going to do, until we achieve the revenue that we find for you, we'll keep working until we do, if you're not satisfied, but you have been trying. And the key phrase there is at the end, but you have been trying. That's our guarantee. What's yours? What do you offer that puts all the risk on you, that forces you to perform, and that they know it's forcing you to perform? You have to sing for your supper every time. This should be the final thing. All these things should make up your compelling offer. Okay, a good compelling offer, and especially the risk reversal. You have to make sure that they know that is there. If you don't, it's hard. It's difficult to do. So, but you won't get the full effect of the compelling offer. But that risk reversal is hugely important once you understand it. Now, to make that happen, you're going to need to spend some time first putting that in place. Don't just throw it out there and expect that, you won't, because there will be people that come along that will purposely try to sabotage it because they're just evil people. And they want something for nothing. They feel like they're entitled, and they make your life miserable. We've all had those customers, all of us. If you're not, you will. You'll get somebody that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, they are not satisfied and they never will be satisfied. And you can cut them loose, but it could turn into nasty lawsuit and nasty anything in this world of people that function like that. So the best thing you can do if you're going to offer the risk reversal is to really take extra time and put that in place. And to think like those people enough to say, okay, how can I make sure that I don't have to pay this out? But if I do, if things just don't work, because there are those clients too, that no matter how hard everybody tries, it just doesn't work. Okay? That's in the t-shirt business, guys. There's a story there, but I'm not going to get into it. But it's no matter how hard people try, it's not meant to be. And so you have to be prepared for that too. That you've done everything you're supposed to do. They've done everything they're supposed to do, but it still doesn't work. So spend some time sorting that out. Spend some time going through that. Consult an attorney if you have to. May not be a bad piece of your time, investment of your time, or somebody that can help you think through this stuff from that perspective to say, okay, what if it doesn't, or what can we guarantee? How can we guarantee what we offer? When we offer services, that's harder because it's more subjective. If you have a product and the product has a defect, that's a lot easier. But you still have to have a procedure. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to return that product and I'm going to get you a different one, at my cost, and we're going to make this work out. And then if we start having too many problems and defects with these products, hey, purchaser, what are you doing? We need to find a different source for this. That's again, the purchasers are watching that, and they should be watching that, and help make adjustments so it doesn't cost the company any more money than it needs to. But services are harder to do that because they're subjective. But if you we'll talk about again policies and procedures at some point in place that are rinse and repeat over and over and over again. You're doing the exact same things the exact same ways. Then the chances of this problem are minimal, and if non-existent. And it's easy then to add a risk reversal into what you're doing. It's easy to say, I could stand behind this. I guarantee it because I know this works. I've tested it. We've proven it. We've done through the fire. We have vetted everything we can vet. I know this works, and I know this will work for you. And I'm prepared to put my business, some of my profit and business on the line to prove that to you. That goes a long way toward making it happen. And especially, hopefully you never have to back it up. But it goes back to the concept of bad reviews. If somebody gives you a bad review, if you have your processes in place and you have your risk reversal truly in place, then you can overcome that easily because you've tested these things. You know they work. Otherwise, you wouldn't put them out there as you wouldn't guarantee it. You wouldn't put your name and your reputation on the line, to make sure that everything works as it's supposed to do. So risk reversal, huge opportunity. But so all this, I've left this on here for a reason. So what does your compelling offer look like after all of this? What does it look like? How is it different? Do you need to go rewrite it? I had to rewrite mine. I totally changed the services that I provided. I told you we kind of ran into the sense of every client, we get the clients in, but every situation was too different, and we're having to re-engineer and reinvent everything. Instead of having a set of processes that we could at least start from, then if we want to add something else later, guess what? We systematize that. So it's easily repeatable. And we try our level best to not let the customers know that it's repeatable. We're dealing uniquely with them. And as far as they're concerned, it's all new. And that's okay. A good business should run that way. That's not deception. That's a good business should run that way, where you have everything running like a well-oiled machine behind the scenes, and your customers have no idea other than the fact that everything that you promised them, everything you guaranteed them, is coming to pass. Even though their situation is a little, and their situation is a little unique, but you're there, and you seem to have a solution for everything. Well, it's a surprise to them, but it's not a surprise to you. And so it makes risk reversal so much easier to do all that. So I hope this helps you. I hope maybe you need to go back and spend some time thinking about your compelling offer and how that might make sense for you. It's an exercise that is completely worth doing. It is time that is very well spent, and it will change your business. It will change it, because at the very least, you have something that when somebody asks you what you do, that there's an opportunity clearly sitting in front of you, asking you what you do for a living, even if you're not the owner, even if you're a part of the business. Can you explain it in one sentence? Can you work that into the conversation that tells them exactly what you do? And then they can decide, because you may not know, they can decide whether or not that meets a need they have. That's the accidental ones, but the people you purposely target, you can check this statement against them. Do they really truly have this need? Is this going to change their world for the better at all if they buy this from me? Or is this just temporary? So put out some of your compelling offers out there. Put them in the comments wherever you're watching this, and let's have some of them. Let's see what this looks like. This might be kind of fun, but it is an exercise, but it's an exercise worth doing. So that does it for me, I guess. If there's anything else that you have questions about, compelling offers, that sort of thing, put them in the comments wherever you're watching this, and we'll do our best. Our team will do our best to go through and answer those questions. So next time we have some more stuff. We're going to get more back to traditional digital marketing, I believe. So, but there's plenty of other opportunities that are out there. We're on YouTube and Rumble and several Facebook groups, thanks to several gracious people. So thank you very much for watching. We will talk to you sometime soon. Take care.